Well, I guess all day.
Yeah, we work together.
I was gonna say, I guess you're all day.
That's why they joined.
Yeah.
It's time alone that we're creating.
I get it. Something I thought on the school.
They're short one.
I'm going to try it if you want to come. I'm like, heck no.
Plus, you
Go.
know, sweaty, go.
I want that 45-year-old myself.
Yeah, every one of those high efficiency furnaces.
And we are live.
All right. Guys ready? We'll call this July 21st meeting of the ZBA to order and start with pledge of
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please do the roll call.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have Chair Zarowski,
Here.
Mr. Fisher is absent, Ms. Vinton,
Just in time.
Mr. Stevens,
Present.
Mr. Haugen,
Present.
and Nicole Bennett, Secretary to the Zoning Board of Appeals, and then we also have Mary Lou Christiana, attorney for the town. And then we have the ZBA liaison from the town board, Michael Coleman.
Okay, well, welcome everyone. My name's Sam Zarowski. I just moved over here from the planning board where I've been for quite a few years. I'm the vice chair for the last 2. I don't know if everyone knows there's a whole switch around. So Bruce is now over on the planning board as the chair there, and town board asked me to step into this role, which I was pleased to do. So I'm very happy to be here with you guys. I've heard only good things about everyone. So today, I'm very lucky in that in my first meeting, I don't even have to chair the only item on the agenda. So I'm gonna hand it over to host. Sorry, do you guys prefer first names? Is that fine with everyone?
I don't think it's formality there.
Okay, great.
I'd like to be called.
Her Highness?
Her Highness, Queen of the Universe is what the children had to say when they wanted something really badly.
And then just to explain, so Bruce was recused from this application. So Clayton was acting as chair for this application, and because it's the same application, Clayton will stay chair even though Bruce is no longer here. I guess that's confusing.
Yeah,
Anyone watching at
and
home?
As long as you, Sam, brought yourself up to date
Yeah.
in the minutes and things, you are allowed to participate and vote.
That's great. So Clayton,
All right, well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
Appreciate you stepping in, taking over as chair. It's a lot of responsibility off somebody else from the board. All right, I'll start right out and thank you for joining us. Continuation, you want to come on up? Continuation of the application 21-598, Jake Tennyson Rubin, Melissa LaChance Malone. It's a public hearing still. It's regarding a conveyance of property. We kept the public hearing open to allow the town's attorney to be here. Fortunately, she's here, so we can get some questions answered. Do you have any other information to provide? I know you provided us with a new survey that listed the setbacks for the evidence moving there, the structure.
Correct, we had that survey at the last month meeting.
Yeah.
The additional changes that were requested and were done should have been included in the printout today with change in setback, also changed the actual size of the lot to 0.63. Okay, should be updated in the application, as well as you had noted that there was a section of questions of 13 had not been checked
That's
appropriately,
correct.
and that now is all good.
Okay. Excellent, appreciate that. Going over some of the questions with the town attorney, one of the questions I asked was regards to the structure. If we were to put a covenant in the acquisition of the property, would require the removal of the pad to eliminate any structure that's there. I was informed that we can put that covenant in there. And I want to presented to you as a potential for solution to this problem. Because I think the big problem is that pad being there at this point, because of the the land was divided once, now it's being divided again. All right, so now it's a major subdivision, no longer subdivision. But I think we can eliminate part of that problem with that pad being removed. Another covenant that would be put in place potentially, and I require to the town attorney, is requiring that you're made aware that you have to adhere to the AR3 zoning if you purchase that property. But unfortunately, it's still under 3 acres, so that kind of limits what you're allowed to do inside the AR3 zone. Is that something you would seek to understand?
Right, so the first part I understand, that the structure in the second part, I don't quite, because I'm here to request a variance because we are not compliant.
Okay, I understand. It would be one of those things where, let's say, under animal husbandry, where to have cattle and livestock, you have to have 3 acres, right? You wouldn't need that, right? So obviously, under that circumstance, you still wouldn't be able to have under AR3 zoning and animal husbandry, the access to have cattle on your property.
So just acknowledging that.
Yes, but under the AR3 zoning, you could have small fowl chickens under the 1 acre. So it still allow you to have that. Okay, that's kind of, it breaks it down to a 3 acre parcel to a 1 acre parcel. So that's just in the event that you understand that. Is there anything else you want to present us? Any other questions you might have?
No, I don't think there's any additional information from you, which the pad exists as it is. There's no sense to do anything on it or with it. It's required to be removed, but that we're open to.
Yeah, just so you know, the pad is technically a structure.
Right.
And you wouldn't meet the setbacks for a structure. So not only would you need the area variance, you need setback, two more setback variances that you have to apply for to keep that concrete pad there. So if you're not using it, the easiest thing is probably to remove it.
So we were told in the last 2 months ago, I guess, when I had to go back in front of Jerry and ask the COE in regards to if that was considered a structure. Jerry said yes, that was. Then we got the survey map updated to reflect the appropriate setback of 30 foot.
Right, but the setback there.
Because it becomes an accessory building
Well,
over 200 square feet.
it's over 200 square feet, so it's the same as any other structure. And you look at.
It's 40 for the side and the
40.
rear and 35 for the front.
That's what we were told wrong.
Can I answer the question? I don't want to like make it more complicated, but I believe the applicant could ask us to reconsider the code enforcement officer's determination that that is a structure. If they wanted.
Well, but, right. Has to be done within 60 days of the
Right,
determination.
Which was dated.
And that's another public hearing.
Right,
Right.
that was May 31st.
So the easiest structure process would be to remove.
That's the quickest.
If you want it done eventually anyway.
You guys have been here so long, you've been very nice in providing everything we've asked for. Really don't want to continue hearing this application if we don't have to.
Yeah.
And I think the best solution is going to be requesting that that pad be removed to eliminate that structure.
That's okay. Yeah, I mean, I think the goal was to potentially
Right.
remove it anyway and reclaim the grass and make it more of a natural.
Okay.
So
Okay.
just to be clear, that's nothing you're uncomfortable with.
No, no. It was going to happen probably eventually, but if we're forcing function makes it happen sooner by all means.
And that's kind of the way I read it, because of what you said, you're looking to just protect that barrier. Right? It wasn't a matter of having the structure, but it got a little convoluted once it was required. It's going to be required as a structure. So to eliminate that.
So that would mean that, just to be clarified, the variance would be granted with the understanding that
The covenant wouldn't exist.
Right, it'd be a
that-
condition on the.
Would there be a time frame?
We can stipulate one, I'm sure. what's comfortable.
I'm conscious of the
Takes a
fact that
phone
it's
call,
hard to get.
I would like to see it done before the transfer of property.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you can get that removed tomorrow and then transfer the property, it's better.
Well,
I mean, it would
just to be clear,
be a
my
problem.
understanding is once the variance is granted. I
We
then
still
have
go
to
to
go to
the
the planning board.
You're still, yes, and yes, let's bring that up. This is still under the condition of the planning board's approval. We're just trying to get you to that next step as quick as possible.
Right, so you
Right,
might
so
not
what if-
want to, you might want to say with, well,
Prior to planning board.
or no,
Or no,
because if they
no,
don't get planning board approval, they're not gonna.
Then, right,
Yeah.
then you're not
take
gonna
it
buy
out.
the property.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
it could be, like, within 6
Prior
months
to
of
recording
planning
of the
board
deed.
approval, if obtained.
Right, and then if it didn't happen, then it could be cited as a violation.
Right.
Right,
That's correct.
Right, so the variance could be granted subject to
Yes.
removal of the structure within 6 months of any approval by the planning board to facilitate the transfer of property and approve. So,
Or like a
So-
filing of map.
Well, no, you have a public hearing. Mike might want something to say, there might be somebody, you have to
I mean,
open
we
the
still have a
public hearing if
for
you're done.
public
Well, the
comment.
public hearing is open. I believe.
Yeah.
Right.
it's Still
so
open,
you
it
have
is
to
still
see
open.
them.
So I have an additional question on the removal of that structure, given the moratorium, do I need to pull permits for that structure? Is that impacted?
Would Technically, you would have to pull one for the demolition.
But I don't think any of this is affected by the moratorium.
Right, yeah, that would not be effective. But if there's, we should probably end the public hearing then, if we're at the point where we make a decision.
First, somebody to ask you
Unless
if
there's
there's
somebody
anybody who
who
wants to.
see coming in that wants to.
Oh,
Yeah, public comment. I don't believe there's anybody online who wants to say anything.
No, nobody online, no written correspondence. Unless- Okay, no comment
from the
from
audience?
the public.
If someone could make a motion.
So, yeah, if somebody can make a motion to close the public hearing, it's not. Second. Nice. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? That concludes the public hearing portion of this
So
application.
next, before you make a decision, you have to do your secret review.
Okay.
Which I'm guessing you're gonna, listed action, no significant impact.
I don't have the secret application, so.
You can go through the.
We'll go right through.
go through that and-
Done that before.
very good.
So you turn, I think it's page 3. No. What's the question, Becky? You have the part 2? The part 2 on
No, I should.
it? She'll get you a part 2.
Got it on the computer.
Oh, do you want to do it?
Then go
Oh,
ahead.
you're gonna have
If you've got it on
to-
the computer, go for it.
You comfortable with me reading it?
Absolutely.
Okay, so will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulation?
It's not really interferes with anything.
Say no or small impact. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land?
It should not.
That's, I agree. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of this community?
No, there's no impact.
Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No.
No, this is not do that. Or what's near, but it's not. Once in a while.
So I was up to number 4, so number 5 is up next.
Okay, will the proposed action result in any adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walk? Right, no.
I'm thinking the subway system. yeah.
Right,
Done.
we're good there. We don't have to worry about the roads or anything. Will the proposed action cause an increase in use of energy or if it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? So, no, I don't see how you're going to. Will the proposed action impact existing public/private water supplies? And B, public-private wastewater treatment facilities, not on the grid as far as septic and not on the grid for water supply. So it's not gonna have any impact there. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic agricultural, archaeological, agricultural, and aesthetic resources? I'd say no, there's nothing historic there. Monuments. Will the proposed action result in adverse change to natural resources, e.g., wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, fauna? No, I don't believe so. You're not. There's no wetlands there. Will proposed action result in an increase in potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No, it's pre-existing, nothing's going to change on the property, so I say no to that. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? I don't see any impact there. So I think we're no to the entire thing. Anybody else see anything different? No.
Okay, so
No.
now you can do a motion given that to declare that there's no significant environmental impact.
Okay. I'll make a motion that there's no significant environmental impact as found on the seeker assessment form.
That's a roll call.
Roll call. So, Ms. Vision? Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Haugen?
Yes.
Mr. Stevens?
Yes.
Chair Zarowski?
Yes.
So now you got that. Great. What else? do
We're
we
gonna make a
do?
decision tonight.
I think as long as we have an opportunity, maybe to discuss a little more amongst ourselves, if anybody has questions, concerns, everybody understands the whole removal of the pad, the reason for that, and the whole idea. I think it's a reasonable request, preserves the property, and avoids further complication for need for application for setbacks and everything else. It's also going to be conditional under the planning board's approval, but at least it gets those folks to that point.
You could go through the different criteria for area variances to determine
Sure.
that.
You know what
have
they
them?
are. I
Want me
don't
to
have
read them
Have a
out?
pre-written decision, or we can just do it verbally.
Yeah, I mean, we can write it out now, or you can do it next month if you want to have
Well,
it pre-written.
if we write it out now, does that allow the applicant to go forward with everything? My concern is making them.
Yeah,
wait
we'll have to
another
type it
month.
up and deliver to them.
I would hate them to have to wait another month for this to be read and record,
Mhm.
so that then they can finally move forward.
Just a quick question.
They told you.
Yeah.
Mary, Richards,
Mary
that's my last name.
Richards.
I just told them how people call me Christina all the
I've
time.
been called Steve all my life. A couple of months ago, there was an issue about having to have a certain period of time in between the receipt of the last
Now,
document.
if you know what your decision is going to be and you have a resolution in advance, it has to be on the website 24 hours before.
But we didn't know.
But you didn't know what the decision was gonna be, so you can make it today and write it.
So there's something about the receipt of document. Yeah.
No, I don't know if this board requires it. Some boards require that you receive them 2 weeks in advance, just so that you have the opportunity to review them. But if you're satisfied with the review you've done tonight, you can move that, and you can always wait.
And it's up to everybody if we want to go forward.
Yeah,
If somebody has a reason why they want to hold off, then by all means we should.
No, I'm good. I was gonna see if I could open up this template and type it in.
Would you like to discuss the-
Now, this is the first time I've done this, so bear with me. I'm not even sure what we have to fill out on that form. I have no clue.
The name of this Tennessee Ruben. I'll just call it Tennessee. Great, so there's conveniently a template. Which. Well, the documents considered, I think we should write that in later.
That's extensive. We've got quite a few documents.
Request state an area that's on property. All that stuff. The dates of the public hearing. Okay. Can I, are you gonna be reading this off?
Please.
Okay. Town of Rochester zoning, so to be clear, this is draft, we're gonna discuss this as we go. Hereby makes the following findings with respect to specific criteria for area variances as set forth in the town code local law 140-12. Whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created by granting an area variance, yes or no?
So it's not going.
I'm on board for that. All right, no.
So everybody else.
So the finding, how would we say that verbally? That
Doesn't create.
Change
There's no undesirable
in the
change.
character of the neighborhood or
Right,
detriment
you're
to
creating
the property.
undesirable.
all right,
Or just put right in front of
there.
that statement, there is no.
great. There is no undesirable.
Yeah.
Okay. Whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance.
There's not, unless we would absolutely steer them in another direction.
So finding,
There was no,
yeah, well, maybe we should also say. I was thinking about that concrete pad that like but that's not relevant to the variance that
That's
is being considered.
It's not relevant to the conveyance, or is it because of the fact that the setbacks and the
Well,
major subdivision?
No, because you're gonna be putting in the.
Okay,
condition
that
it's
we'll put
taken
that
out
in
that
later.
time.
Okay.
Whether the requested area variance is substantial.
It's more unique.
What's the first sentence?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's making 32 more conforming and 24 less.
Yes. I think it's almost 50-50. I mean, it's not being broken up, it's being transferred. So this person's losing 50% of the area, this one's gaining 50%.
Yeah, unless that's a view on whether it's better to have two equally.
On the one
conforming or one more and one less.
The one
Right.
that's going to be,
They're gonna be.
the one
still
that's
both
going to be
unconform-
less conforming.
Right.
How much less conforming is it gonna be then?
It was 2.8. And now it's gonna be 2.3.
Okay.
It was like actually 2.9.
Yeah, which turns out to be 0.6 something now,
Yeah.
6.2.
it's a 0.63 approximately.
That's not a high percentage, and the other one is gaining more, so I would say.
So which
I
actually
would
makes it more
recommend that you say
beneficial.
it's not substantial.
Yeah,
Should we explain what we just discussed? That would
Yeah,
be my
you-
interest is to explain
absolutely.
it.
Yeah,
We should
absolutely.
So
qualify.
the conveyance is from one non-conforming parcel to another. One parcel is closer to meeting both area requirements the other becomes more non-conforming. On net, the density of usage is unchanged. And should we
And I
say
think
something like,
it's fair to say that
It's less than 25.
right, the increase in the non-conformity.
and
Point
is
six
what
the
three or the 2 point.
Thank you. I was sitting here doing my algebra.
increase the increase of nonconformity is what did you-
Less than 25%.
6.63 and how much was it?
is less than
2.9.
25%.
You're going, creating a
Was
one
it
point
2.9?
eight five acre parcel, and then you're making a 2.707 acre parcel. So one's going from,
Was it 2 point, what did it start at, 2.9?
it started out
Yeah.
at
2.93. I'm just adding up.
I'm sure it's 2.7.
The variations for the 24 lots, I've seen it listed anywhere between 2.7 and 2.9.
So if we
I don't know.
split the difference and say approximately 2.8, and then say the reduction is going to be 20.
Right.
22.
So we're less than 25%.
Right,
That's
less than
not-
Okay, so I'll just say.
I can't. I tried.
Okay, less than 25.
On net, the density of usage is unchanged and the increase of nonconformity is less than 25%.
Yes.
Perhaps say something that under these it's considered unsubstantial under these circumstances. There might be other circumstances in which 25% could be deemed substantial, but under these
They
circumstances.
were gonna put a building that's a half acre or something like that.
Right.
Yes. Substantial.
Seen as unsubstantial. Okay. So let me just read what we all just wrote together. The conveyances from one non-conforming parcel to another, one parcel comes closer to meeting bulk area requirements, the other becomes more non-conforming. That was an awkward sentence. On net, the density of usage is unchanged and the increase of non-conformity is less than 25%. Under these circumstances, this is seen as unsubstantial.
That works fine.
We have more time, I can wordsmith it, but we're good. Okay. Whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district.
No, there's no change to the land.
There is no change to
On the transfer of ownership.
whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, which consideration shall be relevant to the decision, but shall not necessarily preclude the granting of the variance.
It is self-created, but that doesn't,
I saw it as not self-created, for the simple fact that they didn't actually purchase the property yet.
but
But they purchased
but-
a non-conforming. How
They didn't
about
purchase anything yet. They're
The
all,
previous one that they purchased is non-conforming.
okay, okay.
add to that now. And they knew going into the
Right,
situation.
yeah, they
What they
did,
were.
for the application.
But it's
they
okay,
did.
because that's not gonna say,
They're
oh,
creating
no,
it
you
by
can't do
seeking
it.
to buy it.
Right, okay.
In a
I
use
can see that.
variance, if there's one no, they don't get it. In an area variance, you're weighing the factors.
Say yes, the applicant could choose not to. Could choose not to acquire. Determination based on the above factors. It is hereby determined by the town. By the town of Rochester ZBA, the request for an area variance is, and it says triple X.
He says granted or not granted, and that's not.
Right, I would put granted with the following conditions.
Granted,
Also, I mean, I think you can in the previous question, this, the self-created, it's. As I understand, it's not the purchase of the second design, it's about to decide to purchase. But maybe this is relevant. But the reason there's an issue is because the first parcel they purchased was non-conforming. Otherwise, there would be no issue with practicing the second one. So the
There
way that
still
I
would
see
be
it,
a-
Because the second
the
one is
second one's
also,
not.
okay.
Sounds like they created two hardships. The first
Yeah.
one was buying the property and then trying to acquire the second one.
I guess to me, the self-creation is only because you're limiting the purchase to an area that isn't allowing you to come into conformity. Now, I understand that the seller has a reason for that, but from your perspective as the applicant, that is the only reason I can find, right? It could be for self-creation.
The seller on 24 was plus conforming, they're conforming, and we were choosing to purchase less properties that remain, that even remain non-conforming, that would then sell. But because both are non-conforming, there's no way to not have it sold.
That's,
Well, what I'm saying is, that if you would acquire the entire parcel of your neighbor, then it would be
Joint.
conforming. In a sense, somewhat, you two are agreeing together that you're not gonna do that. And instead, you're gonna limit your purchase to only a piece of that parcel. And that to me is, admittedly, a somewhat esoteric,
Yeah.
self-created, but none of us here,
yeah,
as I understand, have any problem.
that's big language that's self created.
It's like anytime you have any choice.
Yeah.
well, there are a lot of times it is self-created, and that's why in the
Like
law,
that.
it says that in and of itself isn't a reason to deny.
So the condition, it's just the concrete pad. So,
Concrete pad, yes.
so variance granted with the following condition. You know the dimensions of the concrete pad?
14 foot by 66 foot.
14 foot, 66 foot concrete pad situated on section of property to be conveyed between two lots will be removed within, I mean, what was the time frame people were saying?
I'm gonna suggest 90 days, just because sometimes. it takes
Does that give you
time.
Well, the reason I'm not sure about the 90 days is they have to now go through the planning process,
No,
and we could be getting to winter.
yeah, well, I was gonna say within 90 days of the planning process.
Well,
Well,
it-
that's
it's-
gonna be the
it's-
second
it's-
condition.
And
If
then
they-
March, it's still not. possible.
Right.
You could say 6 months of the closing of the property of the real estate transaction.
That's what I was going to stipulate, is a certain time after the closing.
That's
Because then
fine.
it's automatically a condition. You're not going to buy the property if you don't get approval from the planning. So I would set that date, maybe 90 days post closing.
But then is it
Let's
still
just-
possible to say?
Right, what if they
that
close in
close
December
November or
And they
December?
can't take it.
I happen to know that you can still get a concrete pad out in December.
Okay.
And is there any
And it's
reason?
actually easier because you can track the machine in there a lot easier. It's the time of year to actually do that.
Would it have any impact at all on the ability to close? Having this?
It shouldn't, no, because the closing.
because they have to do an
after
after
the
closing.
property, it's not-
Okay.
Is there a window between planning board approval and closing?
That's up to
If
you. As
you
long
do
as
it-
you
if
before,
you
if
do
you
it
want to do a
before-
free
Yeah.
closing, then that's on you. I mean, that's your decision, because then if you decide not to purchase the property, it's your investment.
And
Unless the neighbor wants to do it as a condition of sale. But
Or
that's
between
up to
you
you
guys.
guys,
That's
not
definitely an
us.
option for you to bring up.
So we're gonna.
We could say that will be removed no later than, how about that?
Mhm.
No later than, I heard 90 days, I heard 6 months.
I like the 90 days. I agree with Mr. Stevens.
I'm good. I
I
don't,
think
I
90
don't
days
care
is a
myself.
long, it's long, and I'm sure he's anxious.
okay, so no later than 90 days after the
But
closing.
sorry, just so I understand, 90 days doesn't stop anything. Is it stopping anything moving forward? It's just
No,
about
No,
how much
not at all.
flexibility we're giving to the applicant.
All the
Right.
stipulation does is make it so that the party looking to do all this can't turn around and say, well, you didn't tell me when. gonna do it 10 years from now.
Right.
That's all.
Okay, so I said hereby determine the request for an area variance is granted with the following condition, and then I just wrote the number 1. And I said the 14-foot by 66-foot concrete pad situated on the section of property to be conveyed between the 2 lots will be removed no later than 90 days after the closing of the property sale.
Can you put in there 924 square feet also, in case this ever comes up again in another case? Doesn't meet that.
So you're saying 14 by 66, and I'll just say parentheses, 924 square
Way if another condition comes up at another time under another application. With square feet, not to mention.
And we don't need to explain why, because that'll just be in our minutes. or
You know
whatever.
what, you can put there to, avoid.
In order
needing
to avoid,
The need for 2 setback variances.
avoid the need for
And
additional
agreed upon by the
setback variances. And
As discussed with applicant.
Is there anything that needs to be in that document or otherwise that I need to prove and validate that there is the removal?
Look, if you want us to put more in.
yeah, we can put that.
I was going. to
Well, you're
put
gonna
that,
need a permit to remove that from
And
the,
that will be filed. Then you'll have to close it for it.
so we'll have.
Okay, and
Big brother.
I don't feel the need to put that additional language in this document.
That we discussed that it was agreed by the applicant.
So now, yes, so the condition now as written is, so with the following condition, number 1, in order to avoid the need for additional setback variances and as discussed with the applicant, the 14 by 66 foot parentheses 924 square feet concrete pad on the section of property, et cetera, will be removed no later than 90 days after the closing of the sale. So that's 1. That should let you go, that should give you what you need for the planning board to say that they're not worried about the non-conformity. They might have other things, but not that.
And that second one, would we put in there something with regards to on approval of the planning board?
So what's that?
Another condition would be the approval of the planning board, because he has to bring this in front of the planning board.
Well, no, because we grant it and then we can't do it without the
Okay, I wasn't sure if we
planning
needed to,
board sent it to
we had
us.
to stipulate that it was okay, you know,
No,
basically for him to proceed to the planning board.
no planning board always said as soon as the variance is granted, we can continue there.
Okay, well, that completes this template. There's some things we'll have to fill in technically, Nicole, like just making sure everything top matches.
Yeah.
I want to fill in the documents for review that we
Which we can
reviewed.
get right off.
Which
the
we
table
can
by-
pull- I feel, well, I feel comfortable with this because the essential stuff is here.
And I think it should be granted this time, and I believe the applications, that application is filled out properly. The applicant's pleased with the decision. Allows them to move on.
So we need a motion to grant the variance in accordance with the decision read by,
So
I would
I'd say
move-
the chair, but he's not the chair now, by Mr. Zarowski. As proposed by Mr. Zarowski.
I would move to approve the application, the variance as read by, with the findings as decided by the chair and subject to the conditions.
I'll second that. Aye.
I
opposed, anybody? No. Abstained, good. Okay. You're on your way. Hurry up.
So we'll get this to you. I think
Yeah,
I can
we
get,
have a
well, you're out of the office tomorrow anyway, so on.
First thing Monday morning.
Yeah, end of day Monday.
Yeah, definitely by end of the day.
Do I have to come sign these?
Yes.
So we'll coordinate that. I will email you today.
Sounds good.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's your turn.
I got a question about that. Doesn't he have to sign it as the chairman for this?
I was gonna ask that.
Yeah, actually, Clay should sign this.
Okay.
Clay. Sorry, your mother calls you Clay. So.
Whatever.
You want me to email?
Don't call me late for dinner.
You go with me just sending this to Nicole. I can send it to you too.
No, send it right to Nicole. What I'll do is I'll make an appointment Monday. We'll get that work in the morning. Come down and sign it.
What a treat.
I think I just sent it to you. Hopefully you got it. Great. So you're done, I guess.
Does this automatically trigger everything with planning board, or do I need to go back?
Think you have to.
So we have an application, right?
Yes. I can now, I believe, propose, like, I can forward it to the chair of the planning board for consideration to be placed on it.
But he's after.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's
right.
Oh my gosh.
That's okay, though.
That's all right.
There's plenty of people on the
Plenty of
planning
people.
board.
And I think this is a pretty straightforward.
Now,
Can I
yeah.
get tips from the planning board?
No.
I want to make sure.
I'll talk to Mary.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'd rather you talk to him than Maren, because Maren is on the plane, which you definitely can't give you tips.
Yeah, don't talk to
No,
Lauren.
you're not talking to Maren, then she'll have to recuse herself. Then we won't have a board sooner or later. and then Don't talk to any planning board members outside of.
If you have questions, ask me and I can
Nicole,
pass
Nicole,
them along.
Yeah.
You're just gonna, you'll trigger the process. to the planning board?
Yes.
Thanks so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks for all this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We've got a very full rest of our agenda. We need to.
I mean, I have a lot. You can keep them. I know how much you love papers.
So did everyone look at the minutes from the last meeting? I know I did. Well, I would like to make a motion to adopt the minutes from the June 16th meeting. All in favor?
I'm just abstaining because I wasn't there.
Well, so that motion carries. And then training status of members. Nicole made this really nice color-coded document which shows everyone's training. Everyone is in pretty good shape with one exception who we're not gonna name. No, Charlie's doing great.
Charlie's gonna be giving the classes. He has a lot of
But
experience and
there
hours.
are 3 members who do not currently have sufficient training credits. There's plenty of time in the year. And
It's an annual. It's an
annual.
annual.
Yeah, till
Yes.
December, but
December is a bonanza. And you can do them online.
Oh, I
The
have
Zoom
that.
trainings are great.
I just thought that this would be helpful, like as a visual for
No, I
everybody
appreciate
halfway through the year, like just to kind of show where everybody is at. This way you don't have to scramble in December.
Peer pressure.
And the financial incentive is pretty significant. So you get $12.50 per training
I think
credit.
we should at least get a bit of a wage.
I'll be honest, I didn't know.
I'll bring that up with our
Yes.
liaison.
I had no idea.
Okay, does anyone have anything else that they'd like to discuss?
let's see if my power's back on.
Oh, sure.
Because it's air conditioned here. I can come up with an exception.
The last thing I
Yeah.
wanted to say was, this board hasn't had a vice chair for a long time, and I think it would be great to have one. It's a very easy job. I don't think I'm gonna miss many meetings, but having a vice chair just makes it so that it's clear who would chair if I'm absent or if I need to recuse myself. So I'm not gonna put anyone on the spot, but I want you to think about whether you're interested. And if I hear from no one, I might send some emails to get people to step up. So, but anyone who's interested, Clayton, you did a great job.
I think they should be.
I mean, I'm comfortable with that.
Second motion.
Well, I think the town
town board has to appoint it.
Yeah.
But we can send a recommendation.
They have to make a motion.
Actually, I think vice chair, they don't. I think that either you can appoint when you're gonna be out, or the board, can do it. Yeah. For chairman, they have to do it. You can do it for vice chair.
Are you comfortable being put on the spot right now?
I can never put me on the spot. Trust me.
Was that it?
He's
Is
ready
that
for
what you should-
anything at any time.
Is that what you want to reflect, or?
Is anyone else
No.
interested?
I think seniority speaks a lot here, and I want to make sure that Charlie is not interested,
I am not.
honestly, and I don't
Seniority
want it
is
to be
silent here.
overlooked. You have a
Not
lot of
interested
experience.
For my personal reasons.
I got you. Okay, I won't pressure you. Now.
All right, well, Clayton, if you're up for it, I guess,
I'm
so I
fine
can
as
just
long as everybody
appoint
else is
him.
okay.
Yeah, let's do it, let's formally, so I'd like to motion that we appoint Clayton Haugen as vice chair of the ZBA. Is there a second? Isabel seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, huzzah.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Unanimous. Well, great, so now I will motion to adjourn, which I don't think requires a second or a vote. So, right?
I'll second it anyway.